It's just me. My guest has not arrived yet, and so I'm just gonna start without him. And so I did this drawing a couple months ago, and I'm just gonna bust open my watercolor set and start watercoloring. So this is the Hermit. Hello, Zero. I haven't seen you in a long time. I hope you had a great Christmas. I was supposed. I can't seem to get this. There we go. So this is a drawing that I did a while ago. I spilled water all over my table trying to get a little water for my brush. All right. Let's see. We start with lighter colors, and then you go up to darker colors. So we're looking at. All right. What are we gonna do? A little bit of a light blue. I'll just kind of start with the atmosphere. I see. Well, I understand needing to do that from time to time, especially when you're in school. You can get really tied up with it and it can interfere with your studies and everything like that. And I took a break from Facebook, or deactivated my account. I think I'm going to take a few photos that I thought that I was getting out of there, but I didn't get them out. So I'm going to have to go back in and open it up again. But nevertheless, let's see what we do here. Isn't exactly watercolor paper, but we'll see what happens. It's a little bit too thin to be used as watercolor paper because you need to get the colors and everything. Oh, my guest has arrived. Hey, you're late.
Hey,
But you know what? I started without you. And if you're there, I'm actually doing. I'm started without you anyway, Jeff. And so we're doing. I'm actually into. I'll just do this really fast while you're getting yourself ready, and then okay. All right. So we're just doing a little walk. Are you still there, Jeff? Okay.
uh,
All right. All right. Well, what we'll do is I'll just go with this water, and the, and we got that arrow thing in. Okay. Anyways, can you log on, Jeff, through your desktop?
Yeah.
Why don't you try that? Hmm. All right. Looks like we're gonna get a guest after all. And this is almost looking like a Mary of Guadalupe like design. I suppose I probably shouldn't have done it this way, just dipping deeply into the colors, but I'm going to go back in now and take some red. It'll blend down. I need something to clean my brush off with. Yeah. Oh, some derogatory stuff. Yeah, thank you. It's when Ange does it, she's pretty ruthless too, and as far as making sure that the trolls don't have a heyday here. But yeah. All right. We are going. This is really having like a Mary of Guadalupe, a Lupe type of an effect going on. All right, let's go in for this red over here. Actually, I'm not really even using the watercolor right here. Supposed to well, kind of getting an effect. I'm liking this. Blessings, Fatima. Jeff is having some. He's trying to log on with his desktop computer in a second to see if he can get a little bit better of a connection. And yeah, zero. Zero's from. He's from like close to the North Pole. Maybe not closer to the North Pole than I am. Anyways, very good kid. So we are. So Fatima, this design here does to me this kind of I think of like Mary of Guadalupe right now when I'm thinking of uh this hermit with a fiery field coming from around it. All right, let's see what we got going here. Yeah, I did this drawing several. Oh, okay. All right then. All right, Jeff. We'll try it again. Well, why don't you try it back on your phone again? Jeff? Why don't you restart your phone and then give it a try? Just give it a restart because that just restart it and give it a try. All right. Well, Jeff, that echo, you might just give it a like I say, you might try just restarting your phone. And so you remember the last time you got the echo, but when okay. All righty then. Hmm. Yeah, just try the restart. Restarts cure lots of different things. All right, look at that. We got a fiery Mary of Guadalupe effect on the hermit here. And so how are you doing, Fatima? I like this. This is really fun, actually. Really good. It's interesting. Sorry that I'm not that talkative right now. I'll come back and change, and then we'll do yellow on the light, a golden yellow. We've made a purpley tone here. Uh-oh. Getting... So this is the third Sunday in ordinary time? Because I was like looking that up. I was thinking, oh, having been on the Lutheran lectionary for so long now, I've kind of lost track of where the Catholic one is. I did look it up. It did say the third Sunday in ordinary time. And there was like a reading that was in there in December. I don't remember which one in December, where it talked about not that we shouldn't bully people. Don't bully people. It's funny, I'd never had read that before. I was like trying to find it, but for some reason I just couldn't find it. I like this energy. It's got some good energy thing going on. All right, so let's go and do some different colors here. I think I might let's go with a base color of a yellow. I think I'm going to do yellow, like this brighter yellow. Let's put it over here. Brighter yellow. That's good. That's good. All right. Coming in here. Yellow to indicate light. Shining light in your darkness. Coming out from here, because it's pretty dry here, so I'm thinking, yeah, it's going to make a little greenish tones in the blend. Yep, it gets kind of it's picked up that color. Now it's green. I don't really want it to be green, but it's all right. All right, and then come back in here. I'm just going to lay that color in there, add a bunch of water. My water's turned blue already. I'm going to just lay in this yellow, and it's illuminating the path right here. The illumination of the path, the lantern, which represents Mama Sushi, welcome. The lantern, which represents the divine light within, and looking and gazing at the divine light within. I'm going to put all that light over there. You know, I have this, I have a golden dawn. Welcome, Essence of the Moon. Welcome. We're doing a show soon, aren't we? Like Tuesday? We're doing a show on Tuesday, right? Essence of the Moon, or was that someone else? Anyways, we have the divine light within, and the hermit. Yes, we are. I'm looking forward to that. I need to make the thumbnail up. You know, your picture you sent to me. I was like, wow, you're very beautiful. You know, most people are very beautiful, but I just wanted to tell you that. Let's see here. Let's get this going. All right.
Work, Bill, but we'll see.
It's working right now.
Okay.
So I'm going to just finish more of this on the hermit, and maybe you could talk about the hermit.
Oh, cool. All right. Well, look,
Yeah.
I love the hermit card because there are a couple things going on there that I really don't know if people realize all the time. Um, Other than the spiritual component of doing the work of a hermit, when I get that card reversed, I think of embarrassment, and it's weird because that's like the opposite of enlightened living. Because you would think something like that might roll off your shoulder or being seen in the public eye for embarrassment, but I get that instead of just getting the spiritual meaning of that, like not having time to go and look at yourself, not doing the work. I often see it that way. Um, and
Huh.
it's weird because I also see it sometimes as someone looking for something, but they don't necessarily know what
Yeah.
because of the light and the darkness, and then the light being too close to you.
Hmm.
So there are so many different ways to read that card. I know it's ruled by Virgo, but that is one of my favorite cards in the deck, especially when it comes in, because it has its literal meaning, and then it has so many other things going on with it too.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I had picked up uh, a deck that was really closely related to the Golden Dawn order.
oh really? Yeah.
Yeah, this is this is based upon the uh, the Golden Dawn, what the Golden Dawn writings were, than the that one that's like floating around.
Oh
And
yeah.
yeah, and so it has all these symbols and signs in it, and so like if I were to read it, let's see, is this dry enough that I can set it here? I don't think it is. I'll just put it. Okay, this is dry like this. So I'm just going to set it here, and I'll read what it says. The book is just little is a little tiny book, little tiny white book. And Hermit, it says, Megas of the voice of light, Yod, hand. The magical lamp appears above the solitary figure wrapped in a hood and mantle. The
Hmm.
lamp burns without wick or fuel. It is lit only by the lux of the universal fluidic agent.
Hmm.
Even even without fuel, the beam radiates in all directions. The face that burns in the golden triangle is a symbol of the fecundity of the infinite and the eternal. At the bottom of the card are the cosmic egg and shaft of wheat, dormant for years, but easy to nurture to life at the opportune time to the back. Blessings, Karen. Back of the hermit
Um,
is a large plant yielding a seed at its summit. The snake
huh.
coiled and passive around the symbols of Virgo and Mercury. Virgo's ruling planet is also ready to spring to life. And so the meanings at upright is wisdom, sought knowledge, divine inspiration, counsel, inner strength, and reversed its imprudence, hasteness, rashness, and prematurity.
Hmm.
So that's kind of, maybe so, but I look at the card and I don't see this as a reversible deck at all,
Really?
and
Okay.
because it is not. Because if you look at the if you look at the symbols on it, it has different symbols up here and up there.
Oh, okay. So it probably shouldn't be. I probably shouldn't be looking at it that way.
But then again, it does have reversible meanings in it. But my when I see cards that have backs on them that aren't reversible, I just assume it means that okay, the reverse meanings are there, but maybe you just don't read them because you only read them if you want to have them. And so You know what? I'm gonna get the coloring book out and I'm gonna let this dry, and I'm gonna probably come pop back on at 9 o'clock, and I'm gonna finish this tonight. I do have a thing tomorrow morning, um, all day thing.
We'll
Nevertheless,
miss you, Bill.
what do you mean?
Well, are you on overnight? Well, nine. Oh yeah, actually 9 o'clock my time. It's 12 o'clock.
What
Well,
I
nine
what I
o'clock your time.
what I said is I have something that I'm doing tomorrow,
Oh, okay,
and tomorrow Saturday, not right. And
okay.
so it just means that I need to start laying down for bed at at earlier than I did last night. That's all. That's all I'm saying. But I'm gonna go pull out your card because I was like thinking because I don't want to. I didn't want to like start coloring on your card without. Where did I put that book at? I'm so disorganized. It was here. It was right here. Well, that's just bizarre. Um, how in the world did that? That's just bizarre. Did I just enter into a wormhole or something? And we're in an alternative reality, and something that was here is now no longer here. Now when we
Could
go
be.
on to yeah, maybe. And then here's the strength card in that
Could be the
in
two
that.
timelines.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that fuck. Sorry about my language. Uh, where did I? I don't get it. I don't get it. It was my fucking sorry. Sorry about my language. Sorry
That's
about my
okay.
language.
Yeah.
I know, but it's right. You can. This is the that same from This is that the strength card in that um hermetic deck. It has to be here. How I've been sitting here the whole time. I haven't gotten up. I haven't gotten up at all. Did I shove it in a drawer? I don't understand. I'm gonna have to stand up and take a look, a broader look. And so how is your day today?
Um, Uneventful when I'm not working. I have more time to think, and sometimes that's not a good thing.
Yeah.
Because
So
I'm on
so
YouTube all day.
so when you are so are you like only on the clock when somebody calls? Is that how it works?
No, we're on the clock from 8:30 to
Oh,
5 Eastern, and then we have an hour lunch and then 2 10-minute breaks where we're not on the well, we're on the clock for lunch because Massachusetts law, you have to get paid for it. I think,
okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I think they can track you better from home than they can in the office in some ways because they use this system called Verint, VERINT, and it
Yeah.
shows you when you're not logged in and ready for a call, when you're on a call, your after work call, if you're more than 5 minutes doing, documentation for the member and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
But then again, too, I think Trump did something this week to roll back some of the Medicare benefits. I'm sure we're going to start to feel the effect of that soon.
Oh, what he did was he rolled back the whole negotiating price thing.
hmm Like they were able to do it for insulin, and they were able
Yeah.
to do it for some of the weight loss, no, not the weight loss drugs, but the generics, um,
Yeah.
that are tier one and tier two. And like now, they were talking about doing it for Ozempic and all of those, and they're not going to do that. And those are a lot of people are on those.
Yeah, they are, and but my sister like has used that but she uses a something that's completely compounded, so she doesn't pay any of those prices.
Yeah, the compound pharmacies. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah. So here we are. Now, I this is something I wanted to show you last time because you were talking about strength. But this card, this is the Rive Tarot deck, and if you want to know, look here, all of these. This is like a hobby horse, thing that's made out of plywood, and
Hmm.
this and so this they have this theme running throughout all of their cards, where if you look at the strength, it's only paper thin.
Wow.
Because you said something the last just a couple days ago about that with the strength card, and I wanted and this one just really reminded me. Of course, this their art, and but I don't know if they really intended it, because you see, if you look at the people, they don't have that same effect. But if you look at, I don't I put the deck back, but it's all of the cards, the figures have the same effect in it,
Hmm.
and it makes it really a
It's
fascinating.
a beautiful card too,
Yeah,
actually.
yeah,
Yeah.
it is. It
I
is.
like it
And
even better than the Rider Waite one for some reason. I
yeah,
don't know.
the only thing I don't like about this deck is the cards are sticky, and so that goes into that, for me, that whole pet peeve I have with the tarot with these decks, like the artist decoded, and if I have to go through and do some trick in order to make the cards usable, it's just like I don't want to spend that time. Why can't it be shuffleable? Why do the cards have to stick together? Why do I have to go, what,
Hmm.
put it in a bag of cornstarch or something like that, and to make it work? Why do I, and so so it's like, that's my issue with. I mean, it's totally mechanical things, but I have a real problem with that, and so, anyways. So what we got here, I'm just gonna start doing this, and then while you think about, this is what we have left down here. And I did, while you weren't here, I layered some more colors in here just
Oh,
to
I love it. I love
just to
it.
add more to it. And so we have about till almost 6 o'clock my time, and then I got to go make dinner for everybody, before I get in trouble. So, um, Mama starts to I get in trouble
Where's
with
Pee Wee? Where's Pee Wee?
Pee Wee's not here because Pee Wee is mom's dog.
Oh, okay.
Pee Wee has bonded herself to mother, and she's just a one person dog. Yeah, yeah. And Karen she's done with the flu, I guess. So anyway, so we got problems ahead, but oh well, maybe it's that. Anyways, let's go into this card more fully. And where did we leave off, Jeff, the other
In
day?
its description or how we were going to portray, you know,
How
the card in color.
that, or in our conversation, because we were seemed to having a really
We
interesting
were, we
conversation,
were.
and then I we had to go, or I had to go, and yeah, it was really interesting, and I was
We
gonna
got
go.
started on the discussion about religion and secularism versus, the priesthood, and then it turned into like what the evangelicals want, and then we somehow get into the card, um, and how the strength card versus the hype. We talked about the versus like the Empress card, how they're two totally different representations of like divine female.
Yeah.
and one is more plaintive than the other, but the other one is more forceful. But there's
Hmm.
something based on how we were drawing it this time that would render, and I think I remember now, render in her eyes by
Oh
bringing them
yeah.
out and bringing her face out more, which is what you did.
And
Um, Bringing out that quality of fighting where strength isn't always seen as something positive, it can be something grueling. I think you
yeah.
kind of brought, because she's turning blue in the face if you think about it, right? So
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
talked
But
about that, and then we were talking about something about religion and the tangent about
I was talking about the founding
the
fathers, and I was
founding fathers.
and
Yeah.
and, and I was and I went back in and I realized that I was completely wrong about Thomas Jefferson's origin story because he was an Anglican, but everybody thought he was a Unitarian Universalist because of his views.
Hmm.
And so, yeah, and but then they looked at his Jefferson Bible, which he stripped everything out, and he stripped everything out of it. And I actually have have it in a Kindle form. I was thinking, God, it would be nice to have the you know to go have the physical form. Of course, the physical form exists in one of those presidential libraries of it in a museum of his, and where he went through with a razor blade and he cut everything out of it, and it just exists a story about the morality of Jesus, of morality based upon Jesus, and and so yeah, and it's just devoid of all the miracles.
That's yeah, and that's sort of what's being bastardized nowadays.
Hmm.
Um, we talked about evangelicalism, and
Yes, a little bit, and
yeah,
but I don't want to like step on people's toes, because I'm not talking about evangelicals individual. I'm just talking about that religion, that sect of religion. But of course, you if you talk smack about somebody's religion, you are talking smack about them.
yeah. That's such you can't divorce the two,
Yeah.
unfortunately. But the people for whom that becomes an issue are often the more
Hmm.
dogmatic people, right? Who aren't
Yeah.
gonna. But then again, that's what it is, dogma. So it's a circuitous sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm looking like kind of going over these eyes with a darker shade, but it was reminding me of the Light Seer tarot. And have you seen that tarot deck?
I have. I've seen it.
It, and how they're like when you have like the eyes and the eyelids are closed, but yet the
Yes.
eyelids are paint, and so that effect is really super cool.
I saw a post-apocalyptic deck today I want to get to on Etsy. It
Yeah.
came up on I was I was at Instacart and I was done shopping, and then there was
Oh
just
yeah.
this pop-up from Etsy, and it was the post-apocalyptic deck. I'm like, oh, so I had to go get it.
Oh yeah. So that's just like, is that like, there was a series of movies that they started on some kind of a, what was it? It had all these really attractive young people in it, because I think it was like they were like the Divergent series. Do you remember
Oh
those
yeah,
movies?
yeah, those were
I don't. I
good.
don't. I
I
don't
saw
think they
one of
ever.
them.
I don't think they ever finished it because um some as because like when they do those things, the actors end up getting into trouble with the law in some fashion or another, or they get hooked on the drugs, or they want
Hmm.
too much money, or something like that, and then the network or whatever that's like offering those movies says, fine, we're not going to do that movie.
You
we
took
don't
Care
we,
Bear,
we don't, yeah, yeah. Well, welcome, yeah.
and
Well,
did you ever
yeah.
see the After Forever series? with Hart
No,
and Tessa? No. Do you know
no,
about it?
no. I actually never
It's
heard
not
about it.
supernatural or anything, but
Yeah. So what about the lion's tongue? What color should that be?
um,
Or you just want it like a straight red, like it would be a bright, bright red or something like that? Or
for some reason, I'm getting yellow, and I don't know why.
all right,
I don't know why.
no, that's fine. This is this is you, and you are, and you can do what you can do. You don't have to do what is there. That's what
Hmm.
they
Yeah.
this is what this let me see. I get out. Well, let's let's start with this yellow first. It's sort of it's really close to a primary yellow, and yeah, and then I can layer a couple different colors on top of it. All right. I'm gonna just leave the teeth like what they are. There we go. Yellow tongue. Yeah,
Oh, I love it.
just really bright, bright yellow. But then there's
Yeah.
some
It
other.
brings
I think.
out it brings out the teeth too, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
contours of his face.
Mm-hmm.
Not that it's a he, could be a she.
It could be.
Yes.
It could be a they.
Could be that, oh,
Uh,
not in
I
Trump's administration. It
well, I
could
don't.
be.
I know, but that pronoun. But even using that as a pronoun, I don't understand because I think of that word that they as a plural,
I did
and I
too.
think
Yeah.
and so and I really just have a hard time. Okay, we've taken a word and we're gonna make it into a pronoun. I just don't see because they is like an article, like the, isn't
Hmm.
it?
Yeah.
And so you took an article and you turned it into a pronoun, and so I just don't
Right.
think.
You took a person thinking, yeah, you made an article and kind of minimizes the whole person argument, yet at the same time too, it's non-denominative in gender.
Mhm. Yeah, and so
So that yeah.
how do you use they in a sentence? I mean, now is that they becomes every time you go and read a book and it has they in it, and it's using it like an article, or is using it for
Hmm.
something else.
Yeah.
Now it becomes a gender, or
I had a teacher, and I can't remember who it was, where we'd have to write he, she.
hmm
That was like in eighth or ninth grade. She would want to see he, she, and it could never. And it used to be that he was, or one O-N-E, or he was recognized for both male and female. Don't even
yeah,
do that nowadays. I mean,
yeah,
one okay, but one who believes that, one who is what, and then you could write he and get away with it, meaning for she. Don't even try it now.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Hmm. Yeah, well, we just don't really have the English doesn't necessarily have gender neutral language in it.
It doesn't. That's the
You
problem
know?
with it. I mean,
Yeah,
you think
yeah,
of like French and
hmm
elles sont, ils sont, that sort of thing, and there is that, but there's not that in English. So
yeah.
we're kind of screwed that way. But then again, it won't matter because Donald Trump's probably going to eliminate that too. So
What gender
there's a
neutral language?
prediction. He's going to get rid of the word they.
They because of that. Well, how are they going to use that in an English book? I mean, I don't know. It just seems so
Well,
crazy.
knowing how twisted he is, I wouldn't put it past him.
Yeah. Well.
He is crazy. I was watching some of the press conferences he did in California and in North Carolina.
Yeah.
He's unhinged. Like he's more out there than he was before. Yeah. He's a public menace now.
Yeah. Well, let's just try to bring the conversation away from that. And but yeah, anyways, I'm gonna just layer in a little bit more red here because to make it so it's got a little bit more shaded, so it might have a little bit more dimensionality. I'm having trouble with well, those are just skills I need to learn as an artist to on how to make things look more have a more dimensionality look to them. And yeah, so yeah, it's kind of interesting about different things of religion. And so I was thinking, well, opiate of the masses, opiate of the masses. That's just going to become way more
Yeah.
popular in the next several years, in one fashion or another. Yeah, but yeah, so that's an opportunity for people to offer guidance for others.
Hmm.
Yeah. Now, I want to ask you a different question altogether and change gears. And because I used to think about this when I started YouTube about if you were sponsoring a product, what product would you like to sponsor and why?
Oh my God, what would it be? um, huh.
I'll start. I'll start one so you can think
Okay.
about it.
You stumped me on that one. Yeah.
I stumped you on that. So what I'll start because I thought I've been thinking about this for a while because I really am I really like coffee and um, though I would like a particular brand of coffee, but then when I go down and look at your uh, welcome the D welcome. So when you look at it, when I look at their thing, well, I don't know if they would probably wouldn't appreciate somebody talking about their product and not knowing what their religious views were first, even though they sell it's like for a brand of locally branded coffee, it's just fantastic. And but there is a coffee machine that I use called the Flare. It is an espresso machine and it's completely manual. You have a manual. It's a manual press. You get this piece of steel and it's got like O-rings and stuff in it, and then you put your hot water in there, and you got
Hmm.
your little brew head thing, and then you can just push out. Depending on the grind, if you got the grind just right, it you get a fantastic cup of espresso every single time. And then it's called the Flare, and I've had it for like 3 years, and it's something that eventually I will have to replace the gaskets, but that it's like completely fixable. Now, it will wear out eventually because there are parts that are shoved into each other, and eventually, with a piece of steel, it will wear out. But it's like, okay, if you're buying a an espresso machine and you want a professional grade espresso shot, those top of the line consumer model espresso machines cost new $5,000
Holy. Yeah.
and used $1,000. And this grade of espresso machine is the it's a quality grade that's just below the one that they have in bars and taverns making for making coffee espresso drinks. And so those machines that go into bars, those little tiny espresso machines that have a those ones start at around $5,000 used, and they go on up from there when they're commercial machines. And so, but this flare just one, I got mine for like 200, almost $300, and it makes a shot of espresso that is almost the same quality of espresso that you can get out of a coffee shop.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so that would be the product that and so like for instance, on my channel header page, there's a picture that I took, and I when I used olive oil in the coffee, and the lady, and so I took a picture of it, and it's espresso. It's actually an americano with olive oil instead of creamer, and it looked like a dog came out of it. And that's the picture that I took. I took another picture about a year ago, and it looked like a face. It looked like a face on there. And so, nevertheless, but that's not. And I don't. I have that picture, but it was just like, I would like to use that as my header, but it's not. Anyways, so that's like a product that if I had, if I had like sponsorship or something, that would be one that I would like to to push, because it's like it's really a good product. And so, granted, maybe not everybody who does YouTube thinks about the commercial aspects of it, but I do. I'm a person. I
I
think
have
that,
one. I finally have one.
yeah.
Well, I was thinking of it from the standpoint of being an influencer, and like the influencers get to go places or do things or whatever. But aside from travel and how I can't really think about what I would sponsor for travel. I was thinking of this years ago. I used to take something that was something called Serenity, which is an organic lithium to
Oh yeah.
control anxiety. Yeah. So probably
Hmm.
that.
Oh, so does
And
that,
it's organic.
does that work?
It did for a while.
Until
It
it
did
stopped,
for a while.
until it
It
stopped
from
working. I see.
2004 to 2008, and then at
Hmm.
which point I had a breakdown. So it
Mm,
worked for a while, and
yeah.
it was natural. It got me back out of the house.
Hmm.
It got me working again after a layoff, and it's
Yeah.
the only really thing I can think of right now that, in addition
Mm,
to the stuff I take now, I would wonder if it would have an augmentive or an augmenting effect.
yeah.
So
Mm. So what about down here? What do you want this part of the ground to be?
um, ooh, aqua, if that's possible, like aqua blue. I don't know why though, because it shouldn't be. But I feel like she's
Well,
more earthy than the earth. I don't know.
what color is this?
That's right. That's it.
That's
That's
it.
aqua
That's
for
it.
me.
Okay. I
Yeah.
don't know, because I am a I'm just that typical you know I'm very typical male in that I don't really know, even though I'm an artist, I don't know, my God, my colors. And and it's just like, okay, this is just a shade of blue,
I was thinking of
or
creating the effect of his being in water,
yeah, and
because
that
I
and
kind of
that,
see streams coming from under him, and there's a
yes,
certain depth there. I don't know.
he's walking on water. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, anyways, I talk about that. If I when I mention stuff like that, and I refer to myself as, oh, I'm just kind of like a dumb male who doesn't really know anything, and they don't know what this color is or this word is for that, and well, I know it's blue, and
The D
maybe I
likes ketchup but doesn't like mayo.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now over here, it looks like this over here looks like a different piece of ground, and so I'm not going to color that blue. Maybe there'll be something else in there, and yeah. Yeah, I had something of a breakdown when I was like turning 40. And
Yeah, those the 27's hard. Um, thir I know the 50s are gonna be bad because
oh,
your whatever your Saturn return is 52, right? That's when that happens.
well, I don't know. I
But I
didn't
think
find
that's gonna be bad.
I didn't find that at all, Jeff. I took a
No? Okay.
I I spent my 50th birthday. Actually, I started 2 weeks before. I celebrate my birthday for an entire month now because I figure I should do that. It's
By
my
the D.
yeah. Bye. Yeah. Thank you. And and so like I spent my 50th birthday. I took spent I did gave myself a 9-night vacation in Hawaii.
Oh, that's awesome.
And
Oh
I
my
went
god.
and I went by myself, so I didn't have to worry about vacations with other people. Sometimes turn into one, and it's either you or somebody else that's going to end up whining and whining about. So somebody's going to be doing some whining, and but if you go by yourself on a vacation, then there's no whining because you're the only one who's going to do it. And then if okay, I don't want to be here anymore, good, I'll just leave. And so because always there's always someone who wants to stay longer or shorter length of time,
Mhm.
and it and that's just the way it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so when you take a highly self-indulgent trip someplace, I think it's better just to go by yourself, unless of course you're thinking about traveling over to a foreign country where it may not be safe to go by yourself, and that's a different story. So what about this stuff in here? I'm going to layer some more colors of blue in
Mm.
here while
That
because
should
there's
be
just
Sandy. That should be Sandy.
so
Like, I
sandy.
almost feel
So
like there's a beach behind her now when we're
yeah,
talking about Hawaii. I kind of feel like
yeah.
there needs to be sand. Yeah.
So I got these shades of more earthy tone shades of yellow.
Okay, so let's see. Oh, those are
Um,
beautiful. Um,
let me go with the other ones, and this one here is, though it looks like this, it's light khaki.
mhm.
Um, and this is just yellow, and and then this one has a little bit more green in it. So this is like champagne, and this is moon yellow. So these are so if we were looking at it, I think that might be like this color, which is kind of a golden yellow, and then we have these kinds of things. I can mix yellow with a little bit of brown.
That
I
one
can
on
do
the far right with yellow.
this one here,
Yeah,
and these two together.
the one that kind of glows. The one that kind of glows.
You
Yeah.
want me to use that one, or do you want me to
Yep.
use that one? That one is like the final coat.
Yep.
Okay, I'll do
Yep.
that. Okay, yeah. So yeah, I had this wonderful time in Hawaii. The only regret is that the night before I was going to the luau, I had a little bit too much liquor and everything. And I woke up and I was so hungover the next day. And I had spent my coworkers says, Bill, you gotta get the VIP package. You gotta go to this Germain's luau. You gotta go this place and you gotta get the VIP package. All right, so I did that. And then I go to the luau and I'm so hungover and still hungover from the night before. And then the ladies who did the tour, they were thinking, "Oh, you're such a poor man, poor man for I feel so sorry for you." And then okay, I had all this free drinks and stuff, and the liquor was cheap liquor and it tasted so terrible. And I'm
Yeah.
thinking, again, being because I'm like I don't really like getting intoxicated, and so I end up always buying up the shelf. I buy. I don't buy cheap liquor, but I did bring cheap liquor with me for that vacation. And I need, I heard, the prices are high and everything, and
Mhm.
so I brought um a whole bunch of cheap liquor, and just on just in case, like, it would get they would, like, search my bag, and on the way in, and then they would confiscate it. So I didn't want any expensive liquor being confiscated, so I just brought a bunch of cheap liquor. And if anybody opened it up, and, oh, who would want to drink that? And so they're just leave it, and because that stuff was really raw. It was really bad. It was like, and it was actually the wells stuff that it my workplace. And so a lot of it was just the wells, and it was just like really terrible liquor. And nevertheless, and and I drank all of that before. I had like a picture with my suitcase half filled up full of liquor, and that's what I what I took with me. And that is actually the last time I drank until I got. That was the last time I drank like that. I haven't, and then since I went on the metformin, I haven't, because alcohol and metformin
They
is
don't
toxic.
mix.
They
Yeah.
do not mix, and so I haven't had any alcohol at all since, like, my last birthday. And anyways, and so then I think that's part of the lion's mane, which is gray, and so I'm gonna add that in there like that. You had a gray tones. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. But I do remember uh, pointing at a bottle of tequila, and then when I got the bill, not knowing that it was $40 a shot. And having and I knew that it was top shelf, because I looked at it. I didn't know how top shelf. I knew it was top shelf, but I didn't know how top shelf, because everything in that bar, I had been. This was the bar that was in the bottom of the restaurant, or the hotel that I was staying in, and, like, the beer prices were like $6 a pint, and all the prices of everything that I had was in that range. And I said, well, this is just like the casino. It's the same prices. And so I didn't I did not I did wasn't expecting. I was expecting
No,
like
that's funny.
15. I was expecting maybe $15, or like $20 a shot, but I wasn't expecting $40 a shot. And 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 then I got this bill. I said, "Holy fucking shit!" I was like, "Oh my god!" But the stuff is so good. I knew it was good enough that you didn't need to mix it, and you didn't. And I said, I want to try that stuff. And yeah, and Mama Sushi. That was the last time I puked too. I remember that, and so that, because I had would not drink in excess again after that. And but nevertheless, and so we're putting that other shade on top of here, so you get that beach like effect there.
Hmm.
I'm going to leave back in here. I'm going to leave it that other yellow, so it has a contrasting between the two
Yep.
different layers of land here and over here. And anyways, that's my. And then there was the other thing, was, Jeff, is that I didn't have a credit card
Oh,
at that, and I
well,
didn't
that
have it. And
that
so
might have
I
been bad. Yeah.
I took, and so I was worried that when they took the hotel deposit, that they would, like, lock up my debit card. So I took $7,000 of cash with me,
Bill. Wow.
and I took it on a money belt, and I took that money belt with me everywhere. There was a hotel safe, and I said, I'm not going to put nothing in any damn hotel safe. So when I went into the ocean to go snorkeling,
Hmm.
I had $7,000 of cash on my body when I went into the sea. Every time I went wading and body surfing in
You
the
had it
ocean,
on you when you went in
I
the
had
water.
yes, I had it on me. I had the money belt on
Wow.
me. and I had it, I had the money in plastic bags and Ziploc bags, but I had that money on me. I did not. It did not leave my body. It just stayed. The only time it left my body was when I laid down to go to sleep. And I woke up in the morning after taking a shower and everything. I put that money belt on me, and I had that money belt on me all day long. And it, you know, and and so I came home with $5,000 of cash. I only used like 2,000, but it was. But the thing about it was, Jeff, is that I had that money and I was going to have a vacation, and I refused to be one of those people that I saw with their mother with their five children, and they're going into a restaurant and they okay, they're on a calculator. Oh, okay, we can spend this amount of money, and I didn't want to have that experience. I wanted the experience of where I could just go
Yeah,
and
you
have
should have
fun,
that. You
and
should
then
have
not have to count a single dollar unless it was counting it out to pay it out. And so
that.
and that was the way it was. And anyway, so what about this tree here? So what we got left is these two trees, and we got this stuff here.
Um, I don't know. I heard violet for that tree. I don't.
Violet. I was thinking the same thing.
That's. I
It's
don't know
funny.
why I'm hearing
We're
it.
kind of we're kind of on in we're kind of in sync here, Jeff. It's like what I had thought that
Psychic coloring.
the
Like.
coloring, and yeah, like there's I'm gonna make the far one darker,
Okay.
and the in the and but we'll just sort of we'll color them all the same, and then we'll layer in those other colors onto it. But yeah, so we have that, and kind of looks. I think this is one of the trees too. And we'll put some different colors in it, some reds, and you know. Hmm. Yeah. So anyway, no, 50s hasn't been at all. So it's
Did you
like
take the trip in the 50s, Bill, when you were hit 50? Is that when you took it? The trip to
no, I
Hawaii?
no,
Oh.
I just turned 50 a few years ago.
Oh, okay.
So it what it is that you get to be a little bit more well adjusted.
I like Mama Sushi's question.
What is her question?
Would you ever open a tarot cafe, or any of you, and what would that look like to each of you?
You know what, Mama Sushi? I was actually thinking about that, something like that, and but where I'm living is not really a remote possibility. In if I lived now if I had, let's say, if I won a state lottery where the jackpot was a take home thing, a lump sum take home thing of like $5 million, I would I would do something like that in Seaside, Oregon. In Seaside, I have a lot of family that lives there, but that would be where it would be, and because that's actually Seaside, Oregon would be, especially after when the Cascadia fault goes off, because that's where all the big mega waves are going to be coming. And um, anyways, no, but that's not reason why, but simply because that I like Seaside, and so much of my family came from there, and so it would be a place like that. And Seaside is in, like many of the coastal cities, they have that's where all your tarot shops and crystal shops and everything exist in the state for the most part, because they don't happen. I think my nearest small city to me, McMinnville, I don't think you could buy a tarot deck in the whole city.
Really? Oh my God.
yeah, and
Like
you could
around
probably
here, you can. Like, yeah, you can go maybe 6 miles outside of here and get a deck. Yeah.
yeah.
Do you have any new age shops, Bill? No?
No, there's one
Any?
there. There's one in the state capitol, and all the new age shops either exist in Portland or they exist on the coast. So, like
What
in
is
the
the capital of Oregon? Is it Eugene?
Salem.
Salem, that's right.
So yeah, there may be two in Salem, but actually, I haven't actually been into one. So how do you think? How do you like the? There's different shades here of this violet, but
I like how it has that sort of, again, another depth feel that it's its own entity. So I kind of wish, like, I I don't know what the other area around it should be,
well,
but I
what the
like
other
that,
area,
Bill.
the
I think
other,
that
I colored it a like that
I,
khaki color.
okay, good. I like it the way it is because I don't think it
Mhm.
needs coloring anymore.
Yeah,
That area,
that's,
yeah.
yeah, that was what I was thinking too. I do need to layer some other blue in here, and which I think I will do. And yeah. So what about you? Would you do a tarot cafe?
I would, yeah. I don't know where I would put it. I might put it in a hotel or a
Hmm.
casino. That's where I would ideally want it to be. Or or I like what Nancy there's a Nancy Jean worked in one or I'm trying to remember. There's a psychic on here, Nancy Jean, on Sundays. She does political reads with Scott. They did tarot readings in a wine bar. I would
Yeah.
put it in a wine bar. I like
Hmm.
that idea.
Yeah.
But I
Well, because
mean, I think Mama Sushi asked putting it in a cafe, so it would have to be coffee too. But I mean,
yeah,
yeah, they're both tannic. Coffee and wine have tannin, so
yeah, yeah. But then if we were, yeah, that's just like a dream thing. Yeah, coffee, a tarot cafe. But a cafe could easily just be like be this little boutique that had like four tables in it, and then it served like some upscale hamburger or something like that.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah,
Sidewalk cafe, have an espresso machine, maybe some tea, maybe has a limited menu item of, and so because like my favorite is like fresh cut French fries, and I hate French fries that were frozen first.
ugh.
Um,
You probably can tell
I
by yeah,
well, I haven't been out in a long time. I having worked in the industry, I just don't really feel like I need to go out and eat that food all the time. I thought I would miss it, but actually I don't miss it at all. I
you
can
had your
make my
fill of it. Yeah,
I make my own. I mean, if I had just a little bit more cash in my diet, then I would buy more olive oil than I do, and then I would make uh French fries in the oven just using um, olive oil and potatoes. Just cut the potatoes in rounds and lay them on parchment paper or something like that. If you go get the PFA free parchment paper, or you just put it on a baking sheet and don't worry about it, and just have an elbow grease pan to clean later. You know, you can do that, but it's really simple to make French fries that way.
mm.
And okay, what about these flowers here?
um, I'm hearing a light red
Light red. Mm, light red.
or a maroon or an orange, like an orange and a red.
Orange and a red. Maroon. Like, so this I think is a maroon.
Yes, yeah,
Okay. So I will use that, and then you said like an orangey red,
orange. Yeah,
kind of like this one here. Or
Lighter. Is there one lighter than that?
how about this one?
Yes, that's what I meant.
Okay.
That's
All
probably
right.
not even orange. It's probably more like pink. It has to look like it would be on a flower. And then when I thought about it, I'm like, wait a minute, Bill's right. Actually, there shouldn't be that orange. It should be something else. So
Yeah. So what do you think about this
just
type of a program of you know having a conversation while somebody else does the coloring and so forth?
a novel approach to doing something.
Yeah.
I think it actually and it takes your mind off of um, something you might be looking at normally on YouTube, and it draws you into something else to meet other people, probably. And it's calming. And I think you still do the ASMR, right?
You know what? I don't know if I'm doing ASMR, but what
I
I'm
love
doing I'm
ASMR. Yeah.
I'm doing this and I'm doing the painting things. I probably will pop on about 9 o'clock and finish that one thing, and then I have another layer of paint that needs to go onto this one here. So this did you see this one, Jeff?
Oh, oh, yeah.
Well,
Look at that.
I need to do work on these trees a little bit more because this tree here looks like a feather and it doesn't look like a tree, and so it has a little bit. It has another layer or two to go on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do all of these flowers with this pinkish color, and then I'll go back in over it with that maroon or the burgundy thing, and then just choose like every other one and have it some different variations, and maybe some blue or some other things in it as well to um, just to brighten it up, and maybe to also show that there's the her flesh tone and everything else, kind of bring everything together with the sky and the lion and the water. Yeah, I really like this. I don't know why it is that I thought to do this, but yeah.
This were you the type of person that coloring like took your mind off stuff and was meditative?
It can be, but when
Yeah.
it's really only meditate. Well, okay, so I mean, I don't really talk about this stuff in the open, but I had a few years ago, because when I was at the casino, I couldn't do it, but a few years ago, I would do painting like this while I was using edibles, and it's legal in my state. And so it would, and I would listen to like some metal, some black metal, or some kind of a music, and I would get to go into a flow state of consciousness, and odd things it would be it's going into that flow state. Now that was like super meditative. Now I haven't really used any of those things for a couple years, and I made like the mistake of telling my primary care physician, and then it
Hmm.
was like and then it was like plastered on my chart notes, and then I said, and I hadn't really used for for a couple years, and so then I told I think I want you to take that off of there because I do not think my use of intoxicants is so rare. I rarely ever use them, and it's not it's the use of them is not enough that it's a health problem because of if you like for instance when I had a physical when I was like in my late 30s, and the doctor, whatever, he was saying, he was like wanting to know about my life, and then he was, asking the question, well, how many drinks do you have, Bill? And I says three. He said, what does that mean? I said, three a day, three a week. And I said, three a year. And then, he threw his pen down and says, God damn, God damn it, that's nothing. You don't even, yes, you're wasting my
Yeah,
time here. So you got my hopes up for something. And then there was no hope there. So you're not really using, and so that's kind of,
I was using. Yeah, I was like probably at that age, 33, 34, maybe 15 to 16 drinks a week.
oh, yeah.
Yeah, at most. Yeah.
Hmm.
But it would be binge and it would be on the weekend mainly. But it because of my schedule. But uh before my dad died, it was pretty much every few days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then when I was like 40 something, and I would go to this open mic at a Hugh house in Seattle, and they had a bar there, and so I felt like I needed to buy something. You're there. Not everybody did. A lot of poets, because open mics are terrible because poets are so cheap, because they're
Yeah.
all, and they don't, and then, and anyway, so I would buy whiskey or something like that, and it was like I thought, well, I can, since, like I said, it was like three drinks a year for like 15 years, and I thought, well, I'm not gonna gain an addiction. I think that I would have had an addiction by now, so I don't really think I really have to worry about that if I just have like a one or two drinks a week, at one of these
Hmm.
events. And so that's just how it was. And then it was only when I really was bartending did that amount kick up a notch or two. And then I would have, but I could only have a maximum of like three, the equivalent of like three IPAs. Three, I think those are like 12 ounces. They're not pints. They're 12-ounce cups. You may think they're a pint, but they're not, because that's all that fits in them. I have a bunch of those in my collection of cups, and no, they don't fit 16 ounces. They fit 12 ounces, or just maybe 14. And so that's about what it was. Like once a week, I would go have three or four drinks, and then I would gamble. Then I would go spend like $100 in slot machines or more, because that's how much money it would cost to wear off three drinks. $100, $100, you know. And, yeah, yeah. That's if you're playing with quarter minimum bets, and $100. And that's so you can drive. So you can drive home. You don't want to, like, get a DUI. And granted, I could have just walked home, but anyways, that's neither here nor there. But so there we go. I think we're just about there, and maybe we might do this bottom section here. I know that I talked a lot about myself here. I don't really get to talk very much, but it's kind of interesting where the conversation went. Hawaii was awesome, but I guess I had a mental breakdown when I was 39 going on 40, and I had a period of insomnia and everything that lasted like 6 months, I think almost 6 months.
Ugh, those. Oh my god. Did they put you on
And
anything?
no, they wouldn't put me on anything. And what the cure was, that one of my peoples who was in my writers group, she said, Bill, she was feeling really sorry for me, and she took me to a contra dance. Have you ever been to a contra dance? There's lots of them on the East Coast.
No, but I've heard of them. I don't know
Contra
what they
dance,
are Yeah.
Contra dance is the predecessor dance form to square dancing.
Okay.
Square dancing originated in the United States. It came out of like an English country dance and a contra dance. The contra dance was French, and the English, of course, is English court dancing. But it and anyways, and they were like um really physical. They were geographical in orientation. So like if you had two left feet, it would probably take you a year to figure it out. If you had a right and a left foot and just a small ability of uh of sense of rhythm, you could you go 6 weeks in a row and you'll get it. You get a basic understanding of how to do that dance. And then and so anyways, so the dancing what the dancing did is that there was a lot of spinning around, and these things called the swing, and you did all this spinning around, and that spinning
Yeah.
around rooted me into the present. While I was so dizzy, getting dizzy from the dancing, it rooted me into the present, into the right here and now, and I was able to
That's
sleep.
beautiful.
I was able to sleep. And so, but one of my friends, he married a doctor, and he thinks that what happened is that I had a delayed withdrawal symptom from Prozac, because 6 months before I went off Prozac cold turkey. I was
I did that with
they
Zoloft once. It was
they
hell. Yeah.
they put me on Prozac because of anxiety, and I would have and I would go and to the doctor, hey, so how is it doing? I said, it's worse. And so he'd up the dose. So he upped the dose 3 times. Every time he upped the dose, it got worse. The anxiety was even worse
Mm.
than before. And then he was like, I went back and said, I still got the damn anxiety all the time. He said, well, we'll just up the dose. I says, no, we're not going to do that. And I just quit. I quit taking the drug. I didn't taper off. I didn't do anything. I just stopped taking it. But then I was fine. But then I ended up I was losing some weight. And so what happened is that Prozac is stored in fat cells. And
Huh.
so while I was losing weight, I was getting micro doses of Prozac. And then I lost the weight to the point where all of that stored Prozac was gone. And that's when I had the mental breakdown.
Oh. Oh.
And
That's rough.
it was like 3 to 6 months later. It was 3 to 6 months later, and it took roughly 6 months to withdraw to work its way out. And so a lot of the thing, and so the anxiety attack I was having all the time, I was felt like I was being like itching powder, and there were certain people
Yep.
I couldn't handle being around, and they'd be behind me while I was like, I was working as a bookkeeper at the time, and they would be standing behind me, the boss, and I guess it was because I'm kind of empathic, and that boss was really a chaotic guy, and I couldn't handle being around him, and it was just like I was just going nuts, and I didn't think I was going to make it, but I did. I worked my way through it, and then it was like better, you know. Of course, I learned a lot about myself in that time, things that I didn't know about myself, and did a ton of journaling. I don't think the poetry I wrote during that time was any good. No, which I don't think it was at all. I think it was just terrible stuff. But anyways, because it doesn't. But that's just I probably have some poems from that time period too. Yeah, I do, and I think they were all pretty bad. But never, I don't. Nevertheless, um, that was that. But that was like a real bad time of my life. It wasn't as bad as my 20s, but it was pretty bad. Anyways, there we got it. We got the whole, except for this little patch of white, which is okay. right here, and the whole card. So what I'm this is what's today's date?
24th, January 24th.
Yeah, January 24th. So 124, 124. Um, what did I tarot as backwards? Coloring the tarot with tarot ask backwards. All right, and it looks like it's about 6 o'clock my time, which I need to start doing dinner. But so we're going to do another one of these cards later on. But I'm going to do, um, I think Tuesday, Essence of the Moon, and then on Friday, someone else. I can't. Sorry, I can't remember. But that's for doing this again, and and eventually I'm going to do Karen when she is better. And what I will do then is once I go through, I have all of these pages in here that the person who did this book, um, like this. I don't know how this made it past the copy editor,
Because it's wrong.
because how do you do a coloring book if
With
you
that.
exactly? And they did this throughout this whole book, and I'm thinking even this is too much. It's too much. And if I would think of like that, I would just pull all of this stuff out. If I come in over with a piece of tracing paper, I'll make the columns, the outline of the columns. I'll do this outline here, and I will skip all of that stuff in the back. And the same, maybe even with this is too much black, and skip all of this, maybe this tree, and then some of this, and then all of these different shapes on here just gone, and then do that. And so this is, so if I were to like, I want to do a real thorough review of this book, but I've talked about there's things about it that are really good, but here's the tower. I mean, you can't, all you got is all that black space. So
What are you going to do? Unless
exactly.
you,
So
yeah,
you can't cut the devil too. You can't even color the you can't even choose your own backgrounds, and so all of those can be done with tracing paper. And then, oh, that's right, with Essence of the Moon we are doing the world card, so that's Tuesday. And then I did this with Tarot Your Way, and I think even with this one too, uh, I would probably want to take all that black space out. And so if I were to give it its Amazon review, which I probably will, I'll give it a 3 star. Maybe even less than a 3 star, maybe 2 stars.
is that book still
Just
for sale there?
it is
It
actually.
is? Okay.
Yeah, it is. I mean, but there's other aspects of this book that's really good, is because it talks about this stuff. It has this basic information, and so if you are coloring your way into the tarot, you have this good basic information. The colors, what do the colors mean? Goes in the front introduction of the book. It has all of this stuff, which is what do the colors mean, and like purple and all that, and which is good information. So it's not devoid of information. It's just that one thing. It's just me being really being, I don't know, me being what, more tactile, or more whatever you want to call that, or with like my pet peeve with cards that stick together. I don't like that. It just bothers me, and things like that.
Exacting, maybe.
It's I'm really
Yeah.
too exacting. Yeah, yeah. But yeah. Well, anyways, that's all we got for today. I mean, we will have a I'll have a discussion on um my after church chat, and I'm going to talk about that apocalyptic energy. I'm not going to talk about the book of Revelations because I have never studied the book of Revelations. I have only read it like once or twice in my life, and I read it enough to know that I didn't think it applied to me. And so I didn't figure that, and being that, and the reason, or the fact that it seemed to scare people to death, and
Mhm.
so I just didn't feel like it was necessary information. So I'm like many of the church fathers, or like Martin Luther, who believed that book didn't belong in the Bible, and I actually believe that as well. That I don't think it belongs in there. I don't think it belongs in there at all. And if I were to, I like Thomas Jefferson's idea of going through the scriptures and ripping out everything that's not
Was it
relevant.
Martin Luther? Martin Luther from the Reformation, or Martin Luther King that didn't
Martin
think it?
Luther from the Reformation.
Okay,
But
I wasn't sure.
yeah,
Being
I would
honest.
I would prefer just, I think, a Catholic missal, or I wish that the Lutheran Church would do one like this, because it just has the basic story, and it doesn't go too far into the Old Testament, and actually this is actually good enough. And it's something like this is good enough for guidance, if you want to, but um if you're looking for, I don't really even think you need to look at the Pauline letters, or anything like that. I don't really think you need anything more than just one gospel. One gospel. I think you just take Luke, the basic one, or Matt. Was it Mark is the basic one? Mark is the most basic one. Just that one,
Mark,
and
I think. Yeah.
Mark, and that one is base. Or if you want to, you go Luke and you go Acts, and then you get that. But if you just want it for guidance, I don't think you really need anything more than just, something that has a Sermon on the Mount, and just those things. But then, don't listen to me because I'm a heretic. Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. Anyways, and so I'm going to talk a little bit about that, and I was thinking about something else, but I will bring that up probably on Sunday for my after church chat, because I kind of like that. Um, After church chat, yeah. I don't think it's that popular with people, but then, oh well, who cares, right?
This one might though. This is right up my alley, so I can't wait for it. The
Yeah.
apocalypse one.
Well, we're talking about. I have a. I guess it's time for me to go.
All right.
All
Bye,
right.
everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you,
And
Bill.
yeah, you're welcome, Jeff, and thank you, everybody. Thank
Bye bye.
you. Bye.